Jeffrey Dahmer. In July 1991, a young man ran into the Milwaukee streets with a handcuff dangling from his wrist, screaming for help. He led police back to an apartment where they found photographs of dismembered bodies, a refrigerator containing severed heads, and a freezer filled with body parts. The tenant, Jeffrey Dahmer, stood quietly as officers searched his home, eventually admitting to killing 17 men. But the murders themselves weren't the most disturbing part of Dahmer's case. It was his experimentation. Dahmer explained to police that he didn't want his victims to leave him, so he developed a method to try and create what he called zombies, or permanent companions who would stay with him forever. His technique involved drugging his victims, then drilling holes into their skulls while they were still alive but unconscious. Using a syringe, he would inject hydrochloric acid or boiling water directly into their frontal lobes, attempting to destroy their cognitive functions while keeping them alive. Dahmer told investigators that he wanted to create people who would be completely submissive and wouldn't have the capacity to leave. He attempted this procedure on at least 4 victims. One victim, a 14-year-old Laotian boy named Konarak Synthesomphone, actually escaped after the procedure. He was found naked, bleeding from the head, and wandering the streets in a dazed state. 3 women called the police and tried to help the boy, but when officers arrived, Dahmer convinced them that Synthesomphone was his 19-year-old boyfriend who had simply drunk too much. The police escorted the bleeding, incoherent boy back to Dahmer's apartment. Officers even entered the apartment briefly, but noticed nothing suspicious. One officer later reported smelling a strange odor, but attributed it to poor housekeeping. After the police left, Dahmer strangled the boy, had sex with his corpse, and dismembered him. The body of another victim was actually decomposing in the bedroom while police were present, but they never discovered it. During his confessions, Dahmer described his entire process in disturbing detail. After killing his victims, he would often have sex with the corpses, sometimes multiple times over several days. He would photograph them in various poses and positions. He admitted to preserving skulls because he wanted to build a shrine. His plan was to construct a kind of temple in his apartment, with skulls arranged around a black table where he could sit and feel surrounded by his victims. Dahmer also engaged in cannibalism, eating portions of his victims because he believed it would make them a permanent part of him. He described experimenting with different recipes and preparation methods. He kept certain organs in his refrigerator and would consume them over time. When asked why, Dahmer explained that he felt it created a permanent bond, ensuring his victims would literally become part of him forever. Perhaps the most chilling aspect was Dahmer's demeanor. He spoke about his crimes calmly, almost clinically, as if describing a hobby. He showed investigators photos and explained his techniques without emotion. Psychiatrists noted that he understood his actions were wrong but felt compelled to continue. He described feeling empty and wanting to fill that emptiness with the presence of others, even if that meant keeping them as corpses or consuming them. Dahmer was sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms. In 1994, he was beaten to death by a fellow inmate in prison. He was 34 years old. Before his death, Dahmer gave several interviews where he expressed remorse but also admitted he would have continued killing if he hadn't been caught.